Hello and welcome to For Your Journey. I'm Andrew,
And I'm Travis.
and today we'll be talking about Sunday.
Where dinner's at 2 p.m. So what Andrew means by we're going to be talking about Sunday is we're going to be talking specifically about the divine service experience and what happens on a Sunday. And 2 episodes ago, we had Apostle Earl Beener on with us talking about, why go to church, highlighting in that one about, fellowship and community and accountability, but specifically now talking about the divine service and the divine service experience. Why do we need that? Why go to a divine service?
Yeah. One of the cool things about divine service is that it is the most shared experience in the New Apostolic Church, not just like locally, like most likely the majority of your congregants attend a divine service. That's the most likely thing that you're getting good regular attendance for.
Right.
But even internationally,
Right.
that's like the shared experience of the entire New Apostolic Church, in which they even share we share a common Bible verse.
Right. And it's a shared experience that repeats like every week. It's not like everyone has maybe a shared, experience of baptism, but that's like a one-time thing. Like this is a
Right.
shared, repeated
A weekly rhythm.
Yeah, rhythm there.
For sure. Yeah. And so then, okay, what do we do with that? Now we're at the divine service. What does that do for us, right? Like that, I guess that kind of leads to some aspect of change.
Right.
We don't go to divine service to leave exactly the way we came, to move on with life
Right.
the same way.
Yeah.
It would be kind of a silly thing for us to just go to divine service every week and nothing from that.
There's an analogy that someone posed to me one time about going to a restaurant. Like you wouldn't go to a restaurant when you're full.
Yeah.
Like you go to a restaurant
Right.
needing food, or if you're going there for community, or you
Yeah.
go for a purpose. You wouldn't go to the restaurant and someone says, "Oh, can I take your order?" Like, I don't need anything. I'm good.
Right.
So hopefully we're coming to church hungry for something. We come
Yeah.
to church with a purpose, not just out of routine. There is a
Yeah.
rhythm to it, but we
Right.
don't come out of routine. We don't come out of habit. We come because we desire something. We need something. We're realizing that we need to be filled.
Yeah. So even though it's a shared experience, it's not only for other people. Like it's for yourself.
Right.
Like there needs to be some personal conviction that comes from the experience of coming to worship. So like in the sermon, like if we don't walk away with something like, oh, like this is something I need to be changing about myself, like kind of, what are you listening for? We're not listening for other people, but for ourselves. Even we see in the shape of the liturgy, following the sermon, like then we lead into this like hymn of repentance, and then that then leads to like the absolution, where we hear the proclamation of the forgiveness of sins. Eventually, then leading to communion, where we approach God in the most intimate way we have on earth. That we approach that like with a clean conscience and like a pure heart.
Right. Going back to what you said a minute ago about needing like personal change, personal conviction. There's something that we need to be walking away with. That's an appropriate kind of selfish approach. Like we need to be selfish in that moment. Whereas a lot of time with church, we're talking about bringing your gifts and what can you contribute, and not just consuming but contributing, which is also important. That goes back to the community side of things. But also, like you're saying, there needs to be something very personal experience. Even though we're experiencing it in community together.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're not coming just going, I hope that person was listening because that sermon was just for them. Like they've really been struggling with that. Like hopefully we're able to look at ourselves very honestly and openly too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's different than just like raw consuming, because we're not just like eating it up and it's gone.
Yeah.
We don't like consume the sermon, but we like take in the piece that's for us, and like it's shared. It's still shared with everyone.
Right.
It's not like a meal that you eat and it's gone.
Yeah.
It's like it lives on.
We need to allow it, that I guess digestion, if we're using meal analogies.
Yeah. And I guess the digestion there happens through like the dialogue after the divine service. Like as we continue to process, in that previous For Your Journey about community, like it requires the community to like continue discussing and learning. I think the divine service like continues to live as long as we continue to process it together.
Yeah. In our NAC USA mobile app, that was a clip that came out last month from Chief Apostle Schneider about like we need to talk more. It's from a service that he held in Australia, I think last year or year before, about like we need to talk more with each other. We need to leave more room for the Spirit in our conversations. And like what transcends and what changes us, what changes in a divine service, is something we could and should be talking about with each other,
Right.
not just as part of our own testimony of how God's developing us on our journey, but also to encourage others that are going in their journey as well.
And if you're getting something out of it that you're not supposed to get, it's a good check. Like everybody's like kind of keeps you on the right message.
Right.
So the message is like through consensus.
Yeah. Yeah, we could probably watch, the same movie or read the same book and be like, oh, I didn't get that. Well, you got that? Oh, I didn't. I have to go back and reread that. Like, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the divine service can kind of work the same way.
Right.
So kind of going back to that initial question, like why do we go to divine service? Like there's this general like why do we go to church, but more specifically the divine service. And so that's a communal experience in which we experience a personal conviction. And that should lead to a transformation that comes through repentance, which is a lot. That's a lot. But that's really like, it's
a very full experience. Yeah, which is why it's so, has such a potential to transform.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you again for joining us for another 4-year journey. If you would like to give us a question or a thought to discuss, you can find us on Facebook or Twitter. And again, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Travis.
And this has been 4-Year Journey.